She looked me up and down, smirked, and said, "You're just a mistake he'll regret." I didn't say a word then. I didn't need to. Because what happened next? Well, let's just say she got her answer. And trust me, it was loud and clear. "Hey there, I'm just a regular girl with a not so regular love story. If you've ever been underestimated, doubted, or called a mistake, stick around. You're gonna love this one. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share if it hits home." It all started on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. I wasn't looking for anything, honestly. I was just trying to survive another long shift at work. I worked at this small but busy design firm, and he walked in as a new project manager. From the moment our eyes met, something about him felt different. He wasn't flashy or overly charming. No cheesy pickup lines, no loud presence. He was quiet, composed, and had this calm energy that made you want to be near him. His smile, warm, but his eyes, they carried stories I hadn't heard yet. We didn't jump into anything. There were no dramatic declarations, no whirlwind romance. It started with small conversations by the coffee machine. Him remembering how I like my tea. Me laughing at his dry sense of humor. I appreciated that he didn't try to impress me. He just showed up, consistently, every day, with that steady presence. And slowly, the connection grew. The chemistry between us was there from the start, unspoken, but very real. But we both had our walls up. I was coming out of something that left me questioning a lot, and he seemed like he'd been through something too. He never talked about it much. All I knew was there was an ex, someone from his past he didn't really bring up unless I asked, and even then his answers were short. "It ended for the right reasons," he'd say. Or, "She wasn't who I thought she was." I didn't push it. I figured if it mattered, he'd open up when the time was right. I was too busy falling for the way he made me feel seen, respected, safe. I didn't need to know everything yet. I just knew. This felt like the start of something real. It was maybe a month or two in when I started noticing little things, small shadows of someone who used to be in his life. It started with a message. His phone lit up one night while we were watching a movie. I didn't look at it, wasn't trying to snoop, but I caught a glimpse of her name. He saw my face and gently said, "She texted again. I haven't replied. She's been trying to reach out lately. I don't know why." I didn't say much in that moment. I just nodded, trying to act like it didn't matter. But truthfully, it did. Not because I didn't trust him, I did, but because I didn't trust her, and I didn't even know her yet. A few days later, I saw she'd posted something on Instagram, a picture of her and him, from who knows how long ago, with a caption like, "Some things never really change." Subtle, petty, targeted. I asked him about it, and that's when he finally told me more. "She's the kind of person who hates to lose," he said. "It's not love she wants, it's control. She cheated, she lied, and when I finally left, she made it her mission to make me regret it." His voice was calm, but I could hear the pain underneath. I remember asking, "Do you still have feelings for her?" He looked me dead in the eye and said, "The only thing I feel for her is relief that it's over." I believed him. I wanted to. Still, that small seed of doubt had been planted, and when someone has that kind of past, you never really know when the ghost of it might come knocking again. And unfortunately, she did. Harder than I expected. It happened on a Sunday afternoon. We were at this little outdoor market. He loved those. He'd always walk ahead, stopping at every secondhand book table, while I lingered by the jewelry stalls. It was supposed to be one of those slow, happy days. Then I saw her. At first, I didn't even know who she was. She was pretty, tall, confident, the kind of girl who walks like the world owes her something. She was standing near one of the coffee vendors, holding a drink like it was an accessory. Then her eyes met mine. She tilted her head, smiled, and walked right over. "Hi," she said casually. "You must be the new girl. I've heard a little about you." I froze, and then it clicked. Her. I managed a polite smile. "Hi." She looked me up and down, not hiding it at all, then smirked. "You're cute. For a rebound." My chest tightened, but I didn't say anything. She wasn't finished. "You know, he always comes back to me eventually. He's done it before. I mean, we have history. You? You're just a phase, a mistake he'll grow out of." That word, mistake, it hit like a slap. She said it so easily, like it was fact. I didn't argue. I didn't give her the drama she clearly came for. I just stared at her and said calmly, "We'll see." And I walked away. When I told him what happened, his face went cold. "She said what to you?" He was ready to drive to her place and confront her, but I stopped him. I didn't need a fight. I didn't need to prove anything to her with words. I'd prove it by showing her the kind of woman I am, without even raising my voice. That moment at the market stuck with me more than I expected, not because I was hurt, but because I was challenged. She didn't know me. She didn't know the love I had with him, or how deep our connection ran. But still, she looked at me like I didn't belong next to him. For the first time in our relationship, I felt something shift inside me. Not insecurity exactly, but a fire. I didn't cry. I didn't vent on social media. I didn't even tell my friends right away. I went home, sat on the edge of my bed, and thought, if she wants to see a mistake, she's going to be very disappointed. That night, I told him everything. His reaction? Pure rage. "I should have never let her near you," he said, pacing. "She's toxic, and I'm sorry. I never wanted her to touch any part of our life together." But I told him not to worry. I wasn't going to let one bitter woman ruin something this good. What we had wasn't built on drama. It was built on patience, real love, quiet moments that no one else saw. Still, something changed in me after that day. I wasn't just his girlfriend anymore. I was his peace, his future, and I wanted to become a version of myself that no one could question. So I stayed silent, yes, but only for now. Not because I was weak, but because I was getting ready. I didn't need revenge. I needed to rise. And deep down, I knew people like her don't disappear. They come back when they think you're slipping. I was going to make sure she never had that chance, because this time I wasn't going to blend into the background. This time I was going to shine. After that day, I made a quiet promise to myself, not to her, not even to him, but to me. I promised I'd stop comparing myself to her, stop worrying about what she said or what she thought, because honestly, if she had to show up just to tear me down, it meant she already saw me as a threat, and I decided I'd give her something real to be threatened by. So I focused on me. I poured into myself. I picked up things I had long set aside: my art, my writing, my self-care. I started dressing how I wanted to dress, not what I thought would impress anyone. I even got a fresh haircut, and for the first time in a while, I looked in the mirror and smiled, not because I was trying to be better than her, but because I was finally becoming me again. At work, I stepped up. I started leading projects, voicing ideas I used to hold back. People noticed. Even he noticed. "You're glowing lately," he said one night, holding my face in his hands. I don't know what changed, but I love it. What changed was me. I wasn't waiting for validation anymore. I was building my own, and the more I grew, the stronger our relationship became. We weren't just dating anymore. We were a team. We were laughing more, dreaming more, planning a life together. Quiet nights turned into deep talks about marriage, kids, traveling the world. The more I became myself, the more he fell in love. Not with an image, not with an illusion, but with the real me. And slowly I realized I never had to win, I just had to become. And no ex, no shade, no bitterness could compete with that. I'll never forget the day he proposed. Not because it was over the top or dramatic, but because it was real. No cameras, no crowds, just us. We had taken a weekend trip to the mountains, quiet cabin, warm blankets, and the kind of stillness that makes you slow down and feel everything more deeply. One morning, he made me breakfast, badly, I'll add, and we sat outside with our mugs, watching the sun rise through the trees. Then, out of nowhere, he reached into his jacket and pulled out this tiny velvet box. My heart stopped. But what he said before he even opened it, that's what stayed with me. He looked at me and said, "You're not a phase. You're not a rebound. You're the piece I didn't know I needed. You made me a better man just by loving me. And if I ever doubted what real love felt like, I don't anymore." Tears, all the tears. He opened the box, and inside was the simplest, most beautiful ring I'd ever seen. No flashy diamond, no giant stone, just a band engraved with the words, "Finally home." And that's what it felt like, home. I said yes before he could even ask properly. We both laughed through tears. There was no audience, but it was the most important yes I'd ever spoken in my life. In that moment, everything she said to me, mistake, phase, he'll come back, it all faded. Her words had no power here because he didn't just propose with a ring, he proposed with truth, with growth, with healing. He wasn't holding on to his past anymore. He was holding on to me. And for the first time, I knew without question, he wasn't going back. He was moving forward. With me. I didn't plan to see her again. Honestly, after the proposal, she became a distant memory. Just a name I no longer gave energy to. But life has a funny way of bringing things full circle, especially when you're least expecting it. It was at a friend's engagement party. I didn't even know she'd be there. We walked in hand, glowing, happy, and the moment I saw her across the room, I felt that old tension creep in for just a second. She saw me too, but this time, she didn't smirk, she didn't speak, she just stared. I don't know what she expected. Maybe she thought I'd still be small, insecure, shrinking under her presence, but I wasn't that girl anymore. I stood tall in my skin, confident, calm, wearing the engagement ring he gave me, not to prove something, but because I belonged there. She approached eventually, slowly, like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. "You two, still together?" she asked, almost like it physically hurt her to get the words out. I smiled and said, "Actually, we're engaged." There was a pause, a long one, and then I looked her straight in the eye and said, "You were right, by the way. I was his mistake, the best one he ever made." And I meant it. She didn't have a comeback, just silence, the kind that happens when someone realizes they've lost a battle they didn't even know they started. That was the last time I saw her. She never reached out again. No more posts, no more comments, just disappeared, not because I fought her, but because I became undeniable. And when you become undeniable, even your doubters run out of words. Looking back now, I'm grateful for every moment, even the uncomfortable ones, every side glance, every whisper, every time I was doubted. It pushed me to grow, not for him, not for her, but for me. She called me a mistake, but here's the truth. I was the lesson he needed. I was the peace he was searching for. I was the woman he chose to build forever with, and she was just the past. We've built something beautiful now, a life full of laughter, real love, late night talks, morning kisses, and dreams that finally feel possible. And I didn't get here by proving her wrong. I got here by proving myself right. So, to every woman who's ever been called not good enough, temporary, or a mistake, you're not. You're becoming. Keep growing. Keep glowing. Keep rising. Because when the right person sees you for who you truly are, they won't hesitate. They'll choose you every day in every way. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Real love always wins, no matter how it starts.